Let's do this. Welcome back. I want to talk. I want to keep bringing things together. I think it's important. You guys, what I want to do is talk about arrive, pay, and stay, patient experience, patient journey, and really a term that I heard last week that really triggered me in a great way. I love the word triggered, but in a positive way. Someone talked about the alignment of an organization, and we were talking about the work I'm doing, and they had referenced it in the conversation. I was like, wow, I'm going to steal that from you. And it's someone I hope to be doing a lot of work with from the side of proving this concept of alignment of the organization behind what? Behind patient success. Here we go. I want to tie this all together behind this term, right? So let me go high level one more time. Scalability, the growth of your business success is dependent upon the alignment of the organization. So when I talk about arrive, pay, and stay, it is about bringing together and connecting the dots behind an aligned organization. When I talk about the patient life cycle, right, it's about understanding the patient's journey within your business so you can begin to understand, right, their life cycle in your business, so you can begin to connect the dots, so that you can begin to build out a patient experience that is good for your business, good as for the people you serve, all with an aligned organization. That's scalability, my friends. And the best scalable, successful businesses have an alignment of organization. Let me tell you what that means. You guys have heard me say patient success, right? Patient success leads to business success. Interestingly enough, I've rarely spoken around patient success because people rarely ask about patient success, which I think is interesting, which means we leave too much hanging out there, right? Patient success, right, in my world is I got a 10-point checklist for patient success. It's got to be greater than patient outcomes. Patient outcomes are part of patient success, but work with me here, right? You guys know I use this term, understand the process, right? Control the process, understand the process, own the process, because we don't get to determine the outcome. We get to increase the likelihood of an outcome we desire. So if we control the process, back up with me, right, is the patient experience, the systems, the processes that you built out within a patient's life cycle, right? The connectedness of your business, that is all based on the alignment of your organization. So the alignment of the organization is behind patient success. And the terminology I use, and I've altered it slightly for other organizations because they have things like this, they just don't know the connectedness, is this completed plan of care. So the term I use to align the organization, right, behind systems and processes, patient experience, built around a patient life cycle, right, where we can increase arrive, pay, and stay, all flows from a completed plan of care. I'm working with some organizations, pretty large ones recently too, that have these great processes for putting together front desk teams and getting them to understand their accountability. The problem I've seen recently, and as early as last week, is a lot of work going in to build out the training and the onboarding and the hiring for front desk systems with accountabilities that don't tell them. Think about this for a second. Think about this. If I tell you I'm hiring you for a job and your key accountability is lead conversion, meaning taking someone from the phone call and getting them to arrive, right? That's a huge first step. You'll understand what you have to do. But if I can tie it back to, right, what that means, let's just jump straight ahead, in patient success, which leads to overall business success, then I can get the alignment of the organization together. If I'm working with you and you come in or you apply for a job and you're interviewing for a job and we're constantly talking about your accountabilities, right, your KPIs, conversion rate, maybe a couple other things. And I'm constantly referring back to how it fits into the bigger picture of a completed plan of care. Then I will argue, and it's been proven over and over in most successful businesses outside of healthcare and right within healthcare. And I've seen it directly in my own business and with the people I help, that if I can take that one step further, right? And this gets back to the core of our motivators, what drives us. We have to see a connectedness. And this connectedness we could, right, say is alignment. If I know how my role in this company, answering the phone call, managing a person on the first phone call, right, setting them up for success with this mindset of I need to get arrival. I need to understand why they should arrive and what the next step means for them and for me, and what the next step means for them and me and the business as a whole. That's alignment. That's connectedness. That's an alignment of an organization. I should be able to grab my providers and they should be able to explain to me what the front desk team is doing to increase the likelihood of a completed plan of care. I should be able to grab the front desk team, ask them, what are the providers doing? What is the billing team doing, right? What are the aides? What are the assistants doing to increase the likelihood of a completed plan of care? I have a couple teams doing this currently where every Monday morning they get their team together to report their accountabilities, and they make them do it in the order of a patient's journey. So the front desk team goes first. They talk about leads, they talk about arrivals, and maybe any issues with arrivals. Why aren't people scheduling and therefore arriving? Have we had any first visit drop-offs, right? That's on the front desk. Everybody else in the room is listening to this conversation, and it is going on in the order of what a successful patient journey. So the owner, the directors get the team together for what? An alignment of the organization behind this ultimate goal of patient success. And they use this completed plan of care as that measure. Now, a completed plan of care does not just include outcomes, for that matter. I spoke earlier about the 10 check boxes. I don't want to go too deep in that today because I don't want to dive back into the weeds on that. But patient success is not just better patients, right? You need people to know that they were taken care of. You need people to know that their expectations were managed and set, right? Sending someone back to the provider because you can't help them is a successful plan of care. Sending someone to another healthcare provider within your practice or not is a successful plan of care. Seeing someone for one visit, setting them up for a program, and then following up with them twice over the next 60 days, right? Could and frequently is a completed plan of care, right? And everything in between. So if the team understands what I love about my definition of patient success is it follows a patient journey. So every box that has to be checked follows them through their journey. And what's it end with? It ends with they receive their final bill and pay it. That's patient success. It's not they receive their final bill, it's they receive their final bill and pay it. This alignment of the organization, I love this term. That means everybody on the team can tell you how the other team members contribute to patient and business success. You should be able to sit across from someone during an interview process and tell them and show them visually, right? And tell them their role in patient success. You should show them and tell them how their role, right, makes the next step easier for the next person. You should show the front desk team, right, how when they answer the phone, it actually sets up this endpoint of patient success. You should show the providers the work done before the patients arrive, right? You should help the providers understand how they're going to use the information that was collected by the front desk. This is the connectedness, right? This is putting the systems and processes together to create an experience that the person who is now a patient will thrive and strive in. And you and I both know when someone shows up and you, the provider, are using information that was provided by the front desk team, what the patient in front of you hears is that they're important. because you guys shared information about them, right? That's all these processes coming together. So understanding their journey so we can create the experience, meaning inserting the systems and process into their journey to connect the steps, right? That's the alignment of the organization. Here's the kicker. You must have an ultimate goal, right? You must have this large overarching goal for your team. And I loved coming up with completed plans of care because it made us acknowledge, it made everybody understand that the non-providers play a role in this. There was no other goal to come up with, in my opinion, right? And so I'm working with very large teams doing very large amounts of excellent work with the individual siloed teams. There's nothing to connect them together. They're not connecting them together. They're not putting people in the same room, right? Your front desk team has to be involved with clinical meetings in the context that I talked about, to talk about patients' journeys, right? When I say in clinical meetings, I mean front desk teams talking about, right, the numbers that they put on the books, because then they need to hear about the success downstream from the work they did, which is what going to encourage them, right, and align them better with the organization. Patient life cycle into a patient experience, right? Then we can create the arrive, pay, and stay, all built around all the way back up, right? This ultimate business goal of a completed plan of care, which is what built around patient success. So it's funny because a completed plan of care is actually patient and business metric at this point, because the more completed plans of care, the more patient success, meaning more business success. We can't separate them. Scalability is about all those things, and starting from that mindset of I need an aligned organization. What does that mean? Well, what that means is I understand the patient's journey, because until I understand the patient's journey within my business, I won't understand all the roles involved, right? Now I'm going way back to when I started this. Never realized billing and front desk's role in this until I took that big step back and went, how am I going to get this alignment in my organization? It's like, holy shit, everybody has to see how what they do every day feeds into this ultimate metric, which is a completed plan of care. That's the connectedness of the ecosystem. An aligned organization will set your patients up for success, will set your business up for success, which will lead you to greater scalability, bigger, which will lead you to greater growth because you've created the systems to scale, which is awesome, which is ultimately going to create the freedom, give you the time, money, and energy that you wanted when you created this business. Giving you more time, money, and energy means you have a choice. So if you want to spend that time treating patients, you can, but it means you're not tied into it. If you want to get out of treating patients, you can, because you understand all this, because you put together the systems to scale. The reproducibility of what? The reproducibility of creating patient success within your business, which means all the systems are aligned and connected, aligned. So you have alignment of the organization behind a completed plan of care. Scalability is about alignment of the organization. Growth comes with a scalability mindset, not the opposite. I'm working with very large growing organizations that do not have this connectedness. And I'm going to tell you right now, no matter how big or small you are, this is the mindset. Alignment of the organization. All successful business do an excellent job at this. You need to start doing this today so you can start to scale, so you can start to see your exit, so you can start to set up an organization, right, that is aligned so you can get the freedom, the time, the money, and energy that you created this business for. Cheers.